Hey, you guys, hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited to get started. I almost called this the Take Action Challenge, but it's actually the Revenue Challenge. So you guys, I am also streaming on Instagram right now. You guys on IG, just know that I see you, I love you, but I am gonna be focused over here so that you guys can check in on this. So what we're doing right now is we're gonna run for an hour and we're gonna show you guys how to create revenue in your business, revenue in your life, revenue all over the place. I'm going to prove to you that it's a lot easier than you think. And in fact, when you litigate worry, when you get rid of worry in your life, you're going to find that there's so much more space for creativity, wealth abundance, just being able to create insane amounts of income. So you probably already know this, that there are a group of people right now in the world that are struggling big time. Like big time. They have been laid off. They, if you actually look at the stats, the last 10 years have been some of the easiest times to make money. And the road's gotten a little rocky. Like the terrain has gotten a little bit more challenging. And so what do you need to do to be able to rise above those challenges, to be able to create the results that you want? There's another group of people who are having their best years, months ever. Like it was almost like COVID hit and it was a blessing to their businesses. And I know more of these people than I know of these people. So why? Because I hang out in this crew. I hang out in this group that it seems like whatever it is that they touch, it seems to come together. Why? Well, it wasn't too long ago that we did another challenge where we actually showed people how to develop their leadership to be able to take action on the things that they wanted to take action on. So let's do a quick poll right now. First and foremost, have you ever set a goal or plan for yourself? You've sat down and written everything out in your journal and yet it didn't come together. Who's set a goal before that hasn't come together? Just go in the chat right now. If you guys are on Instagram, just know that I'm streaming in a Facebook group right now. And so I'm mostly speaking to them. I'm just letting you guys seep in on day one of this 7-day revenue challenge. Okay, so go in the chat. So when I'm looking in the chat right now, I'm just gonna shift this over you guys so I can see my chat here. When I am looking at the chat here now, let me just get rid of this. Close. Awesome. Okay, so I'm saying yeses, yeses, yeses. So now ask yourself, like, what got in the way of you creating that revenue? And if you're honest with yourself, you're going to say it's you. In the last challenge, I did 50 ways to find the money on day one. I did 50 ways to find the money. And believe it or not, like, it's not that hard to find the money. The challenge is that we won't take the action to be able to execute on it. And the cool thing about knowing that is that when you know that, we can actually get ourselves out of our way so that we can create the results that we want. So here's what I'm going to do on day one of the 7-day revenue challenge. Day one, I'm going to start to shatter your beliefs or your limitations around what you think is possible. So I'm going to start working with your leadership to start creating some more expansive thought processes inside of the way that you make decisions. So write this down. Money loves speed. Did something just go off here? Okay, cool. Money loves speed. So if you write down money loves speed, what does that mean to you right now? Go in the chat and tell me, what does it mean to you when I say money loves speed? Sue's like, cool, I'm getting out of my own way. Take action. It means take action, take action. Don't overthink things, take action faster. Okay, awesome. Momentum, decisiveness, go, go, go. Awesome. Okay, so you're getting it. So the challenge is if you, and I know you've had this moment before, and you've got to get honest with your patterns. Right? You have to get honest with your patterns, because the truth is you can Google pretty much any strategy that any business coach can give you. You can Google it. We have done it for free. We have given it for free, but why do people not still take action? They don't take action because of their limiting beliefs. Now, I know you've heard that saying before, but isn't it annoying to say, oh, I know my limiting beliefs, but like you still haven't done it. That's because you don't know. When you know things, you're not insane. You actually do take action on them. There's something in your belief system that doesn't believe that it will actually work for you. So we're going to talk about how to create products and programs. I'm going to teach you in one day how to create a course. On the 7-day challenge, there's one full hour. Believe it or not, I can show you how to create a course in 1 hour that you can put online. I want to ask you guys, how many of you guys have had challenges with pricing before? You don't know how to price your services. Some of you guys don't even know, like, what should I offer? And I want to tell you that I've been there. I've been there. I've been there so many times, I can't even count how many times I've been there, where I've thought more about myself than I have thought about my audience. Let me decode that for you for a second. When we're stuck in a conversation of what should we offer, how should I price it, even like what should my business be, or is this a good idea or is this not a good idea? We are actually consumed with being good. I'm about to do a whole talk in a few days about the conversation of stop trying to be good. That's what's stealing your revenue. Stop trying to be good. The more you try and be good, the more you self-focus on yourself, the less you pay attention to other people. Now, I know you guys out there who have great marriages. If I asked you, what was the secret to your marriage? I'm going to guarantee you're going to say something along the ways of you communicated well, you served the other person, you learned how to connect with your partner's needs. Communication is something that is a number one thing for everything coming together and working, right? When you give to another human being, you actually receive. The challenge is we all know that conceptually, but we don't apply that in business because we're trying to be good. So I want to break your understanding of what it takes, what you think it takes to be able to create insane amounts of revenue. Okay, so one thing, write this down. It takes you being able to execute fast because money loves speed. It also takes what we've all proven right now, since coronavirus especially, more people became successful in a shorter amount of time because the urgency rose. The urgency rose inside of us because of the fact that we had to give up complacency. How many of you guys noticed that you were complacent when coronavirus came? I did. I noticed that. I am super humble to say there were areas in my business and my life that I was being complacent in. And when coronavirus hit, I lost $2 million a month in gross revenue. And so I didn't panic, thank God. I just sat back and I looked at what do people need right now. And I started launching free trainings. I started launching free offers. I started launching paid offers more often than I did before coronavirus. Let me say that again. I raised my tempo. I raised my tempo of giving. If you're a runner, you understand what I mean by tempo, right? So I raised my tempo. I raised my frequency of getting out there and giving. Now, let me ask you a question. There's a couple different layers of leadership, but I'm going to break it into 3 different layers. Okay. And just, if you're with me on the 7-day revenue challenge, which you are, if you're registered, if you're on Instagram, you guys are not registered yet, you need to go to my bio. Okay. Because this is the only day that I'm streaming on Instagram. Everything is in our group. Okay. So now come with me for a second. There's 3 different levels of leadership in the way that I'm going to speak to entrepreneurs right now. There's the level of leadership that if I ask you to do a summit, if you don't know what a summit is, an interview series, if I ask you to do a webinar, if I ask you to do a Facebook Live, if I ask you to go do a 2-day event or a 1-day event, when you're done that, you're exhausted. You're like, oh, I'm exhausted. Everybody starts there, right? Everybody starts there. It's the pressure that you put on yourself that makes you exhausted. It's not the actual work. It's the pressure that you put on yourself along the way that actually sucks your energy. But that is level 1 leadership, and you got to get out of it fast. You got to get out of it fast, because it won't, if you think that there is one strategy, one something that's just going to like crush your financial future in a good way, meaning like crush all the limitations and create so much abundance in your life, it's going to take you to lead fast, because money loves speed. So what we've learned is that, and the reason why so many more successful people have come on board since coronavirus is the complacency got wiped out. So what happened was more people stepped up to the plate and they raised their frequency. They actually did back-to-back events and they had insane results. I'm thinking about one of my clients right now. She did almost $1 million inside of like just under 2 months. She'd never done that before. That's because she did back-to-back 1-day summits, which I'll talk to you about in this 7-day training, because if you have no buyers, you have no business. It doesn't matter how great your product or service is. If you're starting with product or service, I think you're making a huge mistake. I think you're making a huge, every great product was actually created by asking a group of people. Every great marriage was built by asking your partner about what their needs are, their desires are, and then giving it to them. So business is the same way. You don't get paid on a great idea. You get paid on being useful to people. You get paid on being valuable to people. If you've ever had a moment in your life where you've made an offer for people to buy something from you and you heard, I don't have the money. The real conversation underneath that is, I don't value this, or I don't believe that I can create that result with it. So, and I'm going to get into sales. I'm going to make sales so simple for you, because sales is about giving and it's about people. And I don't think anybody teaches it like this, because everybody's teaching just tactics. And I'm going to tell you that when you look at great leaders out there, they have this ability to tap into an audience, tap into a person, and listen to them and give to them. And the cleaner your heart is, the more conversions you have. See, conversions don't come from the head. People will ask me for the perfect script, and I can give you the perfect script. In fact, when we bring on salespeople to our company, we give them the perfect script. But the truth is, until they start bringing their clean heart and their love for people, we have a mantra inside of Heartcore, and the mantra is that it's people before profits. It's people before profits. And the reason why I started to really implement that into our culture is because when I was teaching sales, people would be like, I need the perfect words, right? I need the perfect words to create the result. And it's like, no, that's all about you being good again. Stop trying to be good. Love people well. So when we're talking about revenue and we're talking about increasing it, I created this entire challenge out of this understanding that when I reached out to our event team and I talked to some of my friends, I calculated 21 very powerful marketing and business events that are coming up between now and the end of the year. They've just started. And I thought to myself, I was like, you guys, I'm totally willing, this to my team, I said, I'm totally willing to do another training or something for people, but they're spinning. And not only are they spinning right now, it's so important for people to make money right now that they're going to spin even more, because when you hear great people who have a command of communication and a command of an audience, and they have authority in an audience, and now because they're competent, they feel confidence. That's an aha moment for someone. If you're striving to be confident, you're reading books on confidence, you've already lost the game. Don't read books on confidence. Okay, please don't. You get confidence by actually getting competency. And so reading books on confidence, I'm probably gonna get in trouble by somebody. I probably have a friend that wrote a book on confidence. Hopefully they wrote frequency. The quicker you fail, the quicker you gain wisdom. And so if you're in level 1 leadership, which I was talking about a few minutes ago, and you do a webinar, or you do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, or you do an event and you're just wiped out emotionally, then you've got a problem. But the good thing is you can change that. You can change that by developing your leadership. And that means reconnect with your ability to fail. I know we have been trained in school and by our parents, some of our parents, not all of our parents, we've been taught that, bad and good. And we want to be good. We work so hard on being good. That is killing your ability to make revenue. I am sloppy, messy all the time. I'm super dyslexic. I throw out content. I have written your entire, I was going to grab it, but I've written your entire 7-day revenue challenge on one piece of paper. And I said to my team this morning, I have a feeling I'm going to throw some of this out. And here's why. The reason why is because I need to know who is actually on this challenge right now. So I'm going to do a quick survey. I'm demonstrating to you what I do before I even create a product. Okay, so I created this product because I knew you were spinning. I created this product because I asked the group, our Facebook group, where we're delivering this challenge. I asked them, I said, what is your biggest challenge between you and success? Where's the bridge? What's stopping you from getting there? And almost everybody said something like, if I could overcome my emotions, if I could just stop being so overwhelmed, if I could just not get as frustrated with myself, I could have more grace with myself, I know I could execute faster. And it was just through listening to people's comments that we took the title that we wanted to name this challenge and we threw it out. And we created this as a 7-day revenue challenge and how to overcome your emotions to create the success that you want. And that was because we asked people what it is that they wanted. I don't know how many people have registered for this challenge. Do you know by any chance? How many people have registered for this challenge?
27,000.
27,000 people have registered for this challenge. Okay, so when you stop and you look at that, that is a product of listening to you. So now take that into revenue, take that into sales, take that into cash flow, take that into cash injections. And if you really want me to teach you cash injections, it's not on the schedule. But if you really want me to teach you cash injections, go in the chat right now and put cash injections. And then I will definitely listen to you and I will find a way to teach you cash injections. Okay, cash injections. Okay, so that's a great example. Now, not every audience needs cash injections, but this audience is asking for cash injections. So I'm looking in the Facebook group, I'm looking for my VIPs here inside of the group. That reminds you of something. You guys who are VIP inside of the Zoom training, the Zoom link right now, I'm going to stay on with you afterwards and we're going to drill down on each and every single day of this challenge. We're going to go deeper. An hour is awesome, but we're going to go deeper. So we're going to spend another 45 minutes tempoing, which is raising the frequency of you creating the result on what it is that we're teaching on the day. So if you're somebody who actually wants to jump into the VIP, you're welcome to do that. Can somebody drop a link for them? In the Facebook group and well, you don't have to drop it in Zoom because they're there. But if you want to join us in VIP, I highly recommend you go all the way. This is it. Like, I'm not doing any more stuff this year. This is it. I'm going to go skiing in Utah. I'm already booked. I'm going to go hit the slopes with my family and I'm going to spend the rest of my season pouring into my family. And that reminds me of something else. Could you imagine, because I remember I had a vision and your revenue is going to start with a vision. I had a vision of a life I wanted. And I don't know if, Ben, could you run on the back of the door back there? On the back of the door back there, left. See that wall size post-it? So, thanks, my love. Yeah. So this is from the last challenge that we did. This is, I don't know, you guys don't have to read it, but anyway, this is my vacation schedule. And my assistant and I are working through it right now, and we're booking all of my off time. Now, when I became successful, I started putting myself first. And so the reason why this is important, can you grab this? The reason why this is important, thank you, darling. The reason why this is important is because if you talk to a financial planner, you're going to see success leaves clues everywhere. If you talk to a really good financial planner, they will tell you to pay yourself first. Well, I'm saying as an entrepreneur, not only pay yourself first, but you actually, I recommend that you build in your life first and build your business around it. Okay, build in your life first and build your business around it. So I take off about 5 months a year. Sometimes it's 5.5 months a year, not accumulative. But if I wanted to, I would build the strategy around that. Okay, so I take off the whole month of December, or this year I'm taking off three weeks of December. I took off the entire month of July in the middle of a pandemic. I needed to get out from my business and to just have space. I don't know, do you guys have shower moments where you have space? If you go for a run or walk or you're in the shower and like that idea comes in? Well, I know that that's how we also solve problems. And so when I have a problem, I don't buy into the conversation of it's a money problem, it's a time problem, or it's a support problem. I don't buy into any of that. I believe it's a Shanda block. That's my name. It's a Shanda block. And I have the power to change it in thinking about something new, which I call leadership. So I'll give you a heads up. I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I'm going to share this. So my husband and I are committed to having twins. And we have a little boy, and for the last 4 years, we've been trying to have another child, and it has not come together for us. And so I have now gotten very, very, very healthy. And so please don't message me on health because I'm handled there. Rule number one on enrollment and giving, give what people need, right? Give what people need. Okay. So my hormones are balanced. My health is good. We know all of this is good. Now it's probably a little unbalanced now because I just did a round of IVF. And so we did a round of IVF. We have a little girl that is in Cairo, who is frozen right now, ready for implantation. We don't have the second twin. And so I'm going back in. And so I'm going back in for IVF again. I hopefully am starting today. So we're just going to check and make sure that my ovaries and everything are good to go. So after I get off the VIPs after this challenge, I'm going to go to my doctor and we're going to do an ultrasound. We're going to see, am I ready to go? Why am I sharing this with you? Here's why. Because I don't plan my challenge around my IVF, right? This goes back to that level 1 leadership. I'm not in level 1 leadership anymore where I get exhausted or taxed. Okay, so I have somebody coming and working on my body every single night to make sure that I'm relaxed, and I've invested the money and the time in that. And then on top of that, I have 2 masterminds next week. So I'm going to go through the 7-day challenge, and then I'm going to have 2 masterminds. And so it just works out. It's their end of year masterminds next week. So my egg retrieval, meaning that when they're going to pull the eggs out of me, is going to be somewhere between next Wednesday and next Friday. Why that's important for you to know is it's right in the middle of the mastermind. It's right in the middle of the mastermind. And so I'm not advocating Superwoman. That's not what I'm advocating. There's nothing in my dialogue or in my worry complex of I can't handle it. And I'm obviously not going to try and be in 2 places at one time. Okay, so that's Superwoman. Superwoman is like, I can do it all. That's not what I advocate. I think that is called burnout. That is called unhealthy. That is not good leadership. Okay, that is called control. I broke the control thing a long time ago. I know there's some controllers here, and out of control means that you handle everything on your own. That's a problem. You got to learn leadership and team. And that doesn't mean delegation, because delegation still means that you're the hub of all the decision making. You need to get out of that and learn how to actually develop culture and team. Whole nother story. I don't want to go into that right now. I just want to open this up for you. Okay, so I know that on Monday or Tuesday of next week, I'm going to know what day I'm going to have egg retrieval. At that point, I will sit down and I've built my well before I'm thirsty. Does anybody know what that means? I built my well before I am thirsty. Does anybody know what that means? Okay, so yes, some of you guys know what that means. Okay, be proactive. Yes, thank you. Okay, so here's what it really means. I've built my well before I'm thirsty means I have given to enough people that I feel no fear that I can't give the curriculum to somebody extraordinary that can train while I'm in egg retrieval. Okay, and I already know what egg retrieval, like what it's like. You're out for, like, it's an hour procedure, and it's not even an hour procedure. It's fast. I think it's important to share this with you because I'm going to tell you my hardest thing at getting people to overflow in cash has everything to do with their leadership level of how they process. If you process slow, we've got to jump that up. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, what does it look like when worry takes over your life? What happens for you? When worry kicks in, and you can go in the chat and you can write this down. When worry kicks in, and by the way, don't sit on a challenge like this and not talk, because that, first of all, that's the ultimate selfishness, right? So you don't just take for yourself, you give. And so you want to comment, you want to talk, because your breakthroughs are somebody else's breakthroughs, and leaders always take people with them, right? So as you're breaking through, share your breakthroughs on the chat, share them in the group. As I'm asking you questions, if you have a breakdown and somebody else has a down, it actually helps them have grace with themselves so that they're not alone. When I was going through fertility, I'm not going through fertility issues anymore. See, when I was going through fertility issues and I joined a group of women who were going through fertility issues, it gave me so much power because I could relate to them and I knew that I wasn't alone. And so be that for someone, be the light for someone. This world needs us to be leaders who take care of each other. Okay. So how does worry show up in your life? Do you get angry? And be okay with that, right? Do you get angry? Do you isolate? Do you get quiet and withdraw? Do you lash out at the people you love? I remember when I was a teenager, whenever a test came up, I couldn't have anybody around me. I'd be like, leave me alone, I gotta study. And so I got angry. I got angry and I isolated. And so what happens to you when you get worried? What happens to you? Okay, so go in the chat. So I get sad, I get isolated. quiet, withdrawn, worried, lone wolfing it, irritable, angry, fight or flight, shut down, bite my nails, paralyzed, blame, awesome, indecisiveness, I stop. Okay, so all of the above. Okay, so this is good to know because you've got to contend with that. Whatever you wrote, I would recommend that you get a wall size Post-it or something that can be really in front of you all the time, a piece of paper, and you need to write those words up on a wall because that's going to be your signal that you're onto something. That's going to be your signal that you're onto something. If you can break whatever pattern is happening in worry behind closed doors, then your bank account will reflect it. If you can break whatever happens behind closed doors, your bank account will reflect it. Okay, so that's what in the next 7 days, I want you to have that word or those words in front of you. And know that the way that God works, the way that the universe works, I'm Christian, so this is another thing. Be bold about who you are. Okay, so I'm Christian and I coach everything from Christians to Catholics to psychics to shamans. I coach them all because I don't believe Jesus judged and neither am I. And so that's being bold. So we're gonna get into your positioning tomorrow. And your positioning's got to be really authentically you. I remember somebody telling me, Shanda, you can't talk about God and be a business coach. And I'm like, I can't shut that part of myself off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, every morning, one of the things I do for success is I read scripture. You know what I mean? Like every morning. And so why would I not, that would be no different than me sharing that, you know, when I go out there and run, I have higher sales. When I took people through an endurance training with Jesse Itzler, Sarah Blakely from Spanx. Before Jesse was doing, he was already doing Hell on the Hill, but like now he's everywhere, right? I had him come train our clients. And he's the most generous giving man. And we took people on an endurance challenge because we were mentally preparing people to be stronger so that they can tempo and raise their frequency, make their decisions faster, right? And so I can't hide those things. I can't hide God or fitness or how all these things play into it. Rachel Hollis is not hiding the fact that she hits the gym hard and her marathons and things like that hard because she saw a correlation. So what is that for you? We're gonna get into that tomorrow. Because if you are trying to be good, you are closing parts of yourself down. And unfortunately, there is a tribe of people who love who you are already. And they would feel so refreshed if you would just know how to position yourself, package yourself, and learn how to make offers in a way that you're so convicted in your offers that people actually take out their credit cards and they buy. And not because you're manipulating, not because you're so good, but because you are so honest. Write this down. Honesty converts. Honesty converts. So I want to show you how to start letting go of worry. I'm going to show you on the 7 days. I'm going to push your emotions as I'm putting the homework out there. Today, the homework's pretty easy. The homework, the background of the homework today is actually having you build your confidence. I want 10 minutes to confidence. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But is somebody timing me too? Okay, good. If you can keep me on time. Okay, good. So at the homework, I'm going to do 10 minutes to confidence. And it's not hard, right? What will be hard is if you procrastinate, then you'll have to come up against that, but it's not going to be hard. But starting tomorrow, it's going to be pressing because I need your emotions to start coming up. I'm going to start pushing you to make decisions really fast because as I created this challenge, remember I created it because I know people are going to spin. I created it because emotions, people need to rise above them because you guys already told me that. I also created it because Black Friday is coming up. And my secret, not so secret anymore, vision for you is that you actually have the most epic financial month you've ever had in business. So my question to you is, are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? So I want you to go in the chat right now. I see people in the VIP going, woo! Linda, I see you. Awesome. Okay, so good. See, the chat in VIP right now is on fire, right? It's on fire because you guys are so ready to go. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you. Who are you? Who are you? And why do I want to know who are you? Because I need to make sure my curriculum that I created actually matches who's in here. So if you are somebody who does e-commerce, If you're somebody who does e-commerce, I want you to go and put e-commerce in the chat, or when I look over here, I'm looking at our screens with the Facebook group in there for the general admission. Who are you? So if you are someone who does e-commerce, if you can go ahead and put that in the chat, that would be great so I can see that. If you are somebody, so I'll give it a second with e-commerce. If you are a coach, a consultant, a teacher, someone who gives advice, you get paid for your knowledge or your advice, then I would love for you to go put advice. Go put advice in the chat so I can see you. Advice, advice, advice. My team is looking at this so that they're going to debrief me so that we can actually make sure that our content matches you. What am I doing right now? What am I doing right now? Pay attention to what I'm doing. I do what it is that I teach you to do. I don't create things without asking an audience first. This is why starting with a buyer's list is so critically important. When I get to that step in the 7-day revenue challenge, then I will articulate that and show you. But how can you be useful? How can you make money if you can't be useful, right? So you don't want to just be useful for a little bit of people. Right? You want an epic month. I saw what you said. You want an epic month. And if you want an epic month, that means that you have to be so useful. So I know you're useful as a human being, because relationships are the most valued and most important thing that you will ever have. This is why building your well before you're thirsty is really important. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to get to that. Okay. So however many people that you help is going to determine how easy it is for you to start climbing the ladder. But see, when we get back to who we were when we were worried, well, that short circuits our ability to build those wells. Okay, so I'm seeing nonprofits. Who's nonprofits? Nonprofits. You guys who are nonprofits, go ahead and post that in the chat. Go ahead and do that. You guys who are network marketers or multi-level marketers, network marketers, I want to see you as well. I'd like to see you in the chat as well. Okay. Okay. So now I just did a survey on knowing who is actually on this challenge. So artist sculpture. Okay. So we can do that. So when I look at artists, you guys, I have so many artists and so many coaches and so many people that are paid for their knowledge that I coach. Many six-figure examples of artists and people like that who've been able to create revenue very quickly. So I still feel like you're influencing your advice in our homes. Okay, so musicians. Okay, go ahead. So let's do artists and musicians. People are like, I want artists and musicians. Artists and musicians. Go ahead, put yourself out there. Okay, good. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So my team's gonna take a temperature gauge on all of that, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at our curriculum for the rest of the 7-day challenge and make sure that it's applicable. If there's enough of you guys who are in e-commerce, then what I am going to do is I've already got somebody on hold for an e-commerce session to do with you guys. And so if there's enough of you guys, then we're going to bring her in to talk to you about that. She's done $2 billion on e-commerce. She's actually fairly young. She's, I think, 40 or 41 years old, very, very close friend of mine. And she will absolutely bring that heat. And this is a great example on leadership. I don't teach e-commerce. Right? So do we sell products and services and shirts? And in fact, I was wearing this earlier. Can you throw me the kids one a second? We have like things like shirts that we sell. And I was wearing this earlier. I love it. We have an e-commerce store. We have, kids shirts that we sell. I'm a world changer. My son is obsessed with these. And we have lots of our clients who their kids wear this as well. So we do e-commerce. This is our most successful hat that I absolutely love. Legacy creator. We're actually getting them done in navy blue right now with gold print. I'm good. Well, actually, hand me the box. We have boxes that are cell phone boxes, because just like I believe in planning your life before your business, and they're not in competition, which I'm going to show you. These boxes are actually, I put my cell phone in these boxes, and it teaches me how to choose love first. They've got holes for my cords, my charger, so that the cords aren't like sticking out the side, making it fall apart. And my point is that I found that I was not disciplined enough to get off Instagram and Facebook. I'm good. We've got cups. We've got a whole manager mind series of cups to help people manage their mind, stay in the step they're in, remind them that money loves speed. So we do that stuff, but I don't typically train that stuff. The cool thing when you have an audience, Rachel Hollis is a great example. When you have an audience, and she does both, right? So when you have an audience, you can actually, when you have an audience, you have authority, right? Because you didn't build the audience without authority. This is why everything starts with the authority, okay? It all starts with your buyer's list. And unfortunately, so many people have it backwards. They feel like if they create the perfect academy or course or product, that they're gonna crush it. And the truth is it starts with building your well first. It always starts with building your well first. And that means your audience, it means your buyer's list, it means the people who you are serving for free, who also, there's a group of them who actually take out their credit cards and actually want to be served by you in a deeper way, whether that's buying an e-commerce product or buying a course, consulting, knowledge, real estate, network marketing, any of that type of stuff. It always starts with the audience. And so once you get that inside your mind, which I teach it so often, and people will still come to me and say, I feel like I still need, and it's like, the reason why you're not making money is your audience isn't big enough. And if your audience was big enough, and this is something we were training our clients recently, the bigger your audience is, the more forgiving it is for a bad offer. Hear that for a second. The bigger your audience is, the more forgiving it is for a bad offer. And what do I mean by that? Remember today, I'm trying to unhook you from the need to be good, right? I want to unhook you. So even if I fail, I still succeed. And that has everything to do with putting my marketing and my business decisions in the right order. And I'm just relentless about getting out there and sharing this with everybody, because when you look at the most successful people online digitally, they all have great email lists, all of them. Even if they say they don't use their email list, if you actually start digging on the data, you will start to realize that over 27% of the best buyers are going to come from your email list, which means that when people click through to go onto your email list, they are much more valuable than just followers online. Let me even articulate this even more. When you test your marketing, you start to learn knowledge, confidence, and conviction, because with competency comes confidence. So for instance, if I give something away for free online and I put an area for you to put your phone number, the people who do not give me their phone number, guess what? In an entire 6 months, they didn't buy from me. 6 months. I gave away something for free, and I put an optional line with phone number, and nobody that did not give me their phone number bought. The people who put their phone number in the free offer ended up buying from me. So what are they? They're committed, right? They're committed people. They are less skeptical. Skepticism goes down when they want what it is that you're offering. And so when you start to test these things, you start to unhook yourself from the advice out on the internet that unfortunately we can't control who's giving the advice, because you have six-figure, like $100,000 business coaches that tell you that email marketing is dead, and it's like they've made 6 figures, right? And I don't mean that in a degrading way. It's awesome they made 6 figures, but who do you want to learn from? Somebody who makes multiple 7 figures in a couple days, in a weekend? Or do you want that is telling you and looking at the data and testing and failing fast? Or do you want the affordable option that's going to burn through more time? And this is why Dean Graziosi always says, like, you pay for speed. And so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and fit into the 21 events that are happening with some of my peers out there and help you decipher which ones you should be using at whatever step you're in, so that you have your most epic month. Because all of us are teaching some great information. What I've seen as the whole is, how do I empower entrepreneurs in a way so that they know what to focus on? And here's the deal. If you don't have a good email list, you better focus on that first, because social media changes all the time. I just had one of my clients tell me the other day, thank you. One of my clients Awesome. One of our clients, she was sharing with me the other day that you can't even share about the election in her Facebook group because she knows somebody who shared her point of view in her Facebook group and they shut down her entire account. And so, but what's crazy is, just so you know, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on our Facebook advertising, but we actually, us influencers are actually not allowed to say what it is that we really believe, because if we do, they will shut down our businesses. So how free speech is that? My email list, I can say whatever I want and I can tell the truth. And if I say the truth, because I'm paying for that email list to be in a CRM system, it's not expensive, but I'm paying for it. And so that means I own that asset. And so renting is one thing, owning is another. I'll prove it to you now. Let's bring up Gladys and Michelle. Gladys and Michelle. Gladys and Michelle, where are you? Awesome. Hey, you guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, let me make sure that I got you unmuted. Hold on.
I think I'm unmuted.
Are you unmuted?
I
Yes.
think so. I am on my computer.
Yeah, I just hit an ask to unmute. So
I'm unmuted. Somebody
You guys
keeps
gotta
muting
click
us
it.
after we unmute.
that's open. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you, Michelle. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So you guys, I want to share something vulnerable from you guys first. First of all, you guys were working on, you guys were working on an event and you guys just crushed your event, correct?
Yes.
And just, I know that you guys are in the relationship world and money's not really something you normally talk about, but what kind of income did you make in one weekend?
In one weekend in contracted sales right now, we're at almost $270,000.
$270,000. Okay, so let me just bring this back, because this is the revenue challenge. And I want people to realize how much revenue is sitting around you all the time, right? How much revenue is sitting around you guys all the time. And so when you guys started your businesses, what was the first thing that you focused on?
When we first started, before working with you,
Yeah,
because that's a whole different ballgame, we were doing workshops. That's what we were focusing on.
okay, so you're
3-month
focused,
workshops.
and how is that going?
It wasn't. I mean, it was going well in that it was all word of mouth, which makes it more challenging, right? We didn't have an email list. So people were getting results. So they were telling people there are only so many people who will talk about relationships, right? And dating and their struggles, unless they're giving it bad airtime. But with the real commitment that they want. So it was going very slow. People were getting results, but people didn't know what we were offering. And it was so different. So unless you knew somebody that we knew, you weren't going to find out about it.
So now anybody who is building their business on word of mouth, I know you network marketers are, right? And so we have network marketers that we have coaches that have created network marketing companies we have one PR girl that we just helped her do 1.5 million in a bonus. She's doing like $30,000 a month on network marketing on the side. We have another girl that brought on 27 reps in one webinar. But the thing is these guys have email lists, right? And so these case studies can make me look really good, but the truth is I couldn't get the results with them unless they had the asset of the actual mailing list, right? That it's easy to build on top of that because we can teach you leadership skills, we can teach you tactics like webinars, other different strategies to create the results that you want. What would you say if I said to you right now, if I said to you guys right now, how do you create revenue right now? If I told you, if I said I want you to create $10,000 right now, how would you do it?
Email our list with first of all, find out what they want, find out what they're looking for. And we have multiple ways to do that, but the survey, like you just did, you modeled it beautifully. And then deliver content that speaks to that need with the option to continue working with us afterwards. That's it.
How about you, Michelle?
I would say the same thing. I'd say ask people what they want. Inside of that, you can always deliver what they also need, but you've got to first speak into what they want. And then from there, you can figure that out, deliver that, and then invite them to keep working with you, especially if you've got a product that delivers results, they're going to want that anyway. So that's what we do.
It's powerful. So you guys, you did $270,000 just a week ago? I think it was a week ago. Was your event a week ago? Last weekend.
No, it feels longer. Yeah.
It feels longer if it's in a week.
Goes right here. So like a week ago, 207,000, which is a great boost going into the holidays, right? What about Black Friday? Are you guys ready for Black Friday? Are you starting to think about Black Friday?
We are. You gave
Yes.
us some really good ideas for something very different. This is not being offered out there. That again speaks to the biggest need that people have in relationships, whether they're single or in a relationship, which is how do you communicate with a person of the opposite sex or even of the same sex? How do you say it in a way that they can hear you and you feel heard? So that was beautiful because we already teach that, and you just showed us how to package it, and I was like, really, that easy?
Powerful, you guys, is see Michelle and Gladys, they're listening. Like when they're listening to me even train you, their listening is so open and they can pick up the leadership pieces really quickly and they can package. So we're going to train you on packaging and pricing. And what they're doing is they're on autopilot where they can package things with very little resistance, right? And it didn't start that way, right? Like it didn't start that way. There's been many coaching moments where you're trying to be good, right? You want to be good for your clients and audibly, like you want to have good content, you want to be valuable for them, and your focus was on that part. And now your focusing is on the listening, and you're listening to them. And so now you can frequently package and price things and move a lot quicker because my love speed. So what would you say was the number one contributor for you being able to do that? Like what had to shift inside of you? Like how did worry used to show up for you and now it's shifted?
I would say that, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it happens a lot. All right, so I would say that and I wrote it in the chat, how worry shows up for me is my creativity goes out. So I can't even think in ways that would make a difference or that would create something amazing because I'm just so worried about the problem. So you've taught us to stop focusing in on the problem and start focusing in on how do we serve, how do we give, and then to trust that if we fail, this is the biggest thing I got from this whole thing, the amount of failure, right? Lack of results really that we experienced, and it wasn't fun going through it, but how much stronger, more confident, authoritative, powerful I feel, even with breakdowns that have happened since the event. Even my husband said he noticed. He's like, you are not the same person. Like you were amazing.
I love that.
He's like, oh my God, he's like, I've been with you for 13 years. And it's like, I'm with somebody new. So that piece of it, and I gotta say, give credit where credit is due, Shanda, having you there in our corner makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference having a coach who really believes in you and is guiding you. And then the times that you said, I trust you to figure it out, we're like, no, but we did it anyway.
So good, so good. What about you, Dawn?
For sure. And you said it before, and I really want people to get this. When we said before working with Shanda and after working with Shanda. So after 5 years of working without Shanda, doing workshops, word of mouth, we had $3,000 in the bank to show for 5 years. And granted, we were doing it, it was our jobby. It was the thing we did on the side of our jobs, you know, on the weekends and at night. When things got real for me, and I was like, I got laid off from a very cushy, well-paying job. And this was it. I did not want a back door. And some people create the back door. And I knew that if I was ever going to do this full time, I had to invest. And you and I spoke for over a year and a half, and that's where you see commitment. She could have said, look, this person doesn't buy from me. I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Year and a half, I stepped in, and within the first year, that $3,000 multiplied, I don't even know, I can't do math in my head. So you're dyslexic, I'm math dyslexic. So, you know, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. And I was resistant. So it was really only 6 months worth of actually taking the coaching. That has multiplied so many, by this point, probably millions of times over, because number one, of the email list, number two, of really not just listening for tactics, but listening for leadership. It's the mindset stuff that takes, I mean, we were 76 people signed up for a 3-day event, was not the result we were going for. It was painful, it was embarrassing. It was hard to tell people that.
That just happened to them, you guys. And we did a strategy and they were able to turn it around where they started bringing 100 tickets a week. And
Yeah,
so
200 in 2.5 weeks, it went from 76 to 200, 328 people signed up for an event. That just
yeah,
doesn't happen without leadership and strategy. You cannot have one without the other. You just can't.
so good, so good. Awesome. So I'm just gonna flip this over. We got Instagram, but I was letting like listen in with you guys. It's so good. And so I think first of all, I'm excited for you ladies to create some epic results for Black Friday. I'm excited to see what you've come up with, and I'm excited to hear what you came up with. And here's something that I want to ground with everybody. Thanks, you guys. I'm just going to say goodbye to them. Thanks, you guys. Mwah. Love you.
Love you too.
What's powerful about what Gladys and Michelle are sharing is that they are empowered to be able to create some of these results together without having to have somebody be codependent over top of them. Do you understand what I mean? Like, your coach, you should be elevating. First of all, if you don't have a business coach, you should get one. There's a lot of great ones out there. We're out there, but there's lots of great coaches. There's Shalene Johnson. There's, Suzanne Evans. There's great coaches out there in the world, and so I don't think there's any shortage of great coaches. The question is which one do you feel most compelled to work with? And are you in a great season of life that you want their lifestyle, right? So I take off 5.5 months a year, 5 to 5.5 months a year. I build my business around my family time. And I will tell you that I'm about to do 18 days straight of back-to-back events, and I'm going to do egg retrieval on an IVF cycle. Now, and I'm not doing that as a superwoman at all. Like, I promise you, I'm not advocating like crushing yourself. I am advocating thinking. I'm advocating leadership. I'm advocating, where's another way that you can create this result? We just have a client that's about to do a virtual event, and she's got an opportunity to go be a coach with Dean and Tony Robbins. And she's like, do I cancel my event? And I'm like, well, you can, but you're still gonna have to walk through that leadership level at some point. So what if you hired a journalist for $25 an interview? You can find journalists Facebook groups and go hire somebody and have them edify you and your company and do the interviews for you on your virtual event is a bunch of interviews. And I was like, that would be a powerful move. So then the virtual event happens, and she can still go work with Tony and Dean. And so how do you learn how to develop like that? So it's not an either or. Your business, your life is not an either or. But what's really important is that you don't give your power away. See, Gladys and Michelle have their power. It took some time to get them in their power, and now they have their power, which means that I am an asset with them, but they are driving their ship. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want, how many times have you said, I want to learn how to do a webinar, and you throw all the money to somebody to teach you how to do a webinar? It never works. It never works. What works is you bringing you to the table. What works is you owning who you are and knowing who you are. Well, I literally got dressed before I came up here to do this day one of the revenue challenge. And the outfit I chose last night didn't feel great on me. And I was like, but I really wanted to wear it, but it didn't feel good on me. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to wear what I want to wear, and I'm going to be comfortable in what I want to wear, not try and look pretty for you. I'm going to put on what I want to wear and I feel powerful in. And this sounds funny, but I had a moment with myself in the closet. I was like, check, got my power. You know what I mean? And so you don't want to give your power away to someone else. You don't want to be afraid to be successful. Who are my people out there who you're afraid to be successful? Right? You're afraid maybe if you push too hard, your husband or your wife won't approve, or your family will judge you. That's a real thing, right? Who are my people out there who are battling that? Who are my people out there who are battling with self-doubt, right? My scripture this morning was about, the moment that Peter was walking across the water. And it doesn't matter if you don't know the story, but that, you're spiritual, not religious, or whoever you are, just follow the metaphor of it. Right? It's like when you're walking across the water, you're doing the impossible, and a miracle is in progress in your life right now, right? This is a miracle. There's a miracle in progress in your life right now, but then you start to doubt. And when you start to doubt, you start to sink. And there's no room for anxiety, worry, and all of that in success. You've got to manage your mind. You got to manage your mind. You have to push it out. You got to manage your mind. So when I, and I'll end on this and then we'll move forward on this. Thank you. So we can move on to the VIP clarity session. So you guys are still room to be able to jump into VIP with us. So just FYI. But when I stopped giving my power away and when I started coaching my clients to stop, like when I stopped worrying about them renewing with me, or when I stopped worrying about me, that's when it really came together. That's when things started to explode. My offers, I had a client say to me, I just did an offer not too long ago. One of my clients said, oh my God, like watching you make that offer, like I'm so inspired to give more. I love that. If I can outgive everybody in the marketplace, then my community continues to get bigger and I can influence people, right? Same with you. You can follow all the same strategies. Here's the strategy, give more. And if you think that you give too much and you get taken advantage of, then check the place in which you're giving from. Check the place in which you're giving from. Because I'm going to tell you, money solves a lot of problems. It does. When people say that it doesn't, they've never had a lot of money, because money solves a lot of problems. When COVID hit, or when we want to fly somewhere, we can jump on a private jet and go, right? When it just, healthcare, everything. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm not super excited about the healthcare system. In fact, they're motivated and incentivized for us to be sick. Just think about that for a second. They're incentivized for us to be sick. Show me a plan out there that they're telling doctors that they'll bonus them for us to be healthy. If you have X amount of perfect blood scores or labs, we'll give you a bonus. Like, our system is not set up like that. So I love that I can go hire a functional medicine doctor. I can go work with somebody who really is incentivized to continue to work with me based on my health. And so money does solve a lot of problems, but here's the deal. It's about you mastering it. Because if you're making decisions based on money, then you got a problem. So here's what I want to do. This is going to be the homework for tonight. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to do positioning. Tomorrow it's about what's your positioning in the marketplace, whether you're e-commerce, network marketing, paid for your knowledge, artist, musician. Tomorrow is super relevant for everybody, okay? So we're gonna do positioning tomorrow. You have to know your positioning to prosper. If you don't know your positioning and you're already thinking about your offer, you're in trouble, right? You gotta start with positioning. What's your positioning? And so we're gonna go over that tomorrow. Here's what I want you to do tonight. If you're on Instagram right now, I'm gonna ask you to go to my bio, and today and tomorrow are the last days that you can come on to the revenue challenge. So go to my bio, register for the 7-day revenue challenge, and then you'll be entered into the group. You guys who are already in the group, you guys who are in VIP, I'm gonna be with you in a couple seconds here. But you guys who are already in the group and already in VIP, here's the homework. I want you to do 10 minutes to confidence. And what I mean by that is that I want you to sit down, I want you to set your iPhone, your Android, set a clock for 10 minutes. And I want you to write about what you're proud of yourself for and why. And here's why this is so important. This leads into gratitude. And if we don't start there, we got a problem, right? We've got to start there. You've got to start in a clean space where you actually feel super empowered about who you are already. I can't go into your life and change your thoughts, but you can. And I'm going to tell you, when I was losing my homes in Las Vegas at one point in my life, and I had no money to pay for anything, I sat down and I started writing, what am I proud of myself for and why? And I set a clock for 10 minutes. If you want to do this the entire 7-day challenge, I think that would be super smart. That'd be very pro. You know, there's amateur, there's pro. Amateur is like inconsistent, does a lot of the work, but nothing really comes together for an amateur, right? It's because they're operating their emotions a lot, right? They blame, that's all that stuff, and worry is when we're an amateur. And we all go back and forth between amateur and pro. But what you want to do is course correct quicker, because money loves speed, right? So if you can get quicker into pro, you'd be in a much better place. So pro is consistent. Pro gives credit when they learn something from somebody else. Pro, things come together for pros, right? They don't blame, they learn, they plan, they execute, they hit the goal. And so a pro move would be 10 minutes a day for all 7 days would be super pro, and let us know how it's going. So what are you proud of yourself for and why? So it looks something like this. I'm proud of myself for moving from Vancouver, Canada to Las Vegas with $500 in my pocket. I'm proud of myself that I have 18 days of events and that I'm still stuck to my IVF schedule. I'm proud of myself. And why that's important is that I'm showing myself that, thank you. I have the ability to think through any problem. When I was a kid, I was called stupid, right? So that's huge for me to be able to continue to think through problems and not have it be me that solves them. You know what I mean? To allow people in. Do you see how these whys are really important? To allow people in to support and help me. That's powerful. That's why that's so important for me to keep my schedule no matter what's happening. I'm proud of myself that I am raising a really good child. And why that's important to me is because I work really hard and I want to make sure that I'm present with my son. So I'm proud of myself that, and you get what I'm saying? So do all the things that you're proud of yourself for, but you have to put the why. The why is what convinces your mind and gives you confidence. And so you have to have courage to do what I'm going to teach you over the next 7 days. You have to generate that courage. You got to show up. You got to clear your plans. You got to figure it out. You lose 34% of the training by watching a replay. 34%. Okay, so if you can be here live, you're going to be in a much better position. Okay, so as we break open your confidence and you authentically knowing how wonderful and great you are, then what I train on top of that over the next 6 days is going to create the epic revenue generation that you're looking for. So you guys, I am super excited to train you. And here's the deal. In the Facebook group, I am giving away 2 tickets to anywhere in the United States. If you don't live in the United States, we'll pick your country. We're giving away 2 airline tickets, first class, wherever you want to go, anywhere in the United States. That's our give for doing the homework. So if you do the homework and you go into the Facebook group, you tell us what is opening up for you. You tell us what's shifted inside you. If you want to post your what you're proud of yourself for and why, I think that's super inspiring. But however you want to generate that homework so we can see that you actually did it inside the Facebook group, we're going to go later on today and we're going to look through the Facebook group and we're going to see who's our winners. So somebody's going to win and we're going to announce this tomorrow morning at the very beginning of the day 2 of the revenue challenge. We're going to announce who's going to win those two first class tickets to anywhere in the country that you want to go. You'll have a year to be able to use it. So if you're afraid of flying right now, you can do that in about a year or within a year and be able to use that. So let me summarize this. So first and foremost, I want you to really understand how worry shows up in your life. I want you to have that up on a wall so that when I challenge you every day to build this revenue, today was a warm up, right? We're just setting context. Tomorrow, the training starts. And so, you want to know how worry shows up in your life so that you course correct it behind closed doors, right? Choose another emotion that's higher than the one that was taking you out. Secondly, I want you to do 10 minutes to confidence, which is I want you to set a clock for 10 minutes and I want you to write what you're proud of yourself for and why. And then I want you to post what's opening up for you. I want you to inspire us. I want you to inspire the group to change. I want you to lift people up with sharing authentically who you are with the group as we see what's shifting inside of you. Okay, if you want to take that 7 days, go ahead and do that. We're going to go in about 3 hours. So you got to do it between now and 3 hours. We're going to go and we're going to check the group for tomorrow's winners. And at the beginning of tomorrow, we're going to announce who the winners are of doing the homework, whoever inspired us, whoever went all the way. So you can dress up if you want. You can be crazy if you want. You can write, you can draw it out. You can do whatever you want. But honestly, the best thing is not even the tactic. It's who you're being while you're sharing this with us. So bless you. Welcome to the 7-Day Revenue Challenge. This is going to be an epic week. I'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye. Bye, IG. I'll see you soon.